Hi, my name is Toshi Asaka. I'm the director and producer of this movie Blackout. Thank you for watching this video clip. Let me introduce about the feature, the main point about this movie. The main things about this movie is it's all made by freaks and maniacs, those who don't like Japanese movie today. In fact, almost all actors except one from Hollywood are non-actors, but they are experts in some certain field. For example, fight scenes are made by the expert, a real martial artist like Swordmaster or like the Kung Fu Master or myself as Aikido. So this movie is made by freaks and non-professional freaks, but those freaks are really serious about the movie and they are experts in their field. So this movie is very interesting about that. That is the main feature. As a director, and also I'm Japanese movie freaks, I try to copy and study the many Kurosawa Akira movie, Kurosawa style movie. So, and also I kind of combine the Jackie Chan and the Steven Seagal for the action scenes, and I also big fan of David Fincher. So I kind of combine all those their techniques. For example, Kurosawa Akira, he focused about the movement. So every frame, they always have a movement. So I try to do the same things. Even every shot, I try to avoid the close-up. I try to show a little bit more so I can see the people walking, moving the bodies, the hand shape. Try to show that as much as possible. So if you know, even though the Hollywood movie today, many people like to use like a close-up, it kind of looks cool in the beginning, but when you shooting too many close-up and reverse shot, cover shot, it's kind of boring because it's just a frame of people here. There is no movement because technically they can't move because the focus is so shallow and the framing is so tight. So actor was kind of forced to stay like this, and this is already too much movement. So there's no movement. So I try to avoid that. So try to shoot wide, or maybe like at least wide enough to see the actual body movement. This is like also like David Fincher, which is my favorite director. He said he try not to use the close-up as many as possible, and he said you have to be careful about using close-up, because whenever you have a close-up, you're telling the audience that this is very important. So he's giving the information about this, so now you have to remember. That's the only moment that I use the close-up. If I have a close-up on the facial expression, because I wanted to show in the story that his face expression or his emotion is very important. If I don't have any story, or I don't have any point about the facial expression, I avoid to use it. So so my movies, we don't have so much close-up. Like even it's very good. Many people think the close-up is kind of looks cool, but also it's boring. Like not David Fincher, the Hitchcock, the famous director, he said, using too many close-up is boring. There's no stimulus because it looks like a photograph of talking. It's like there's no technique. It's just showing the face close-up and talking. It looks like a photo talking. So if there's no visual stimulus, it's you just turn off the the monitor or screen and just listen to the audio. So it's like it's very important to make some movement to stimulus, give the audience some stimulus to hit the audience, to draw the audience attention. It's not just the word, the dialogue, lines of the actors, but everything else is more important. So I try to use those movement to deliver the story rather than just let actors say the story. So I think it's a good story, not just even a film, even like books or novels or even comic. You don't want to explain the story by the characters. but you want to express or, what do you say, draw the story, not explaining by the line. So if there's a scene that's important, you don't want to tell by the character's line, oh, this is important, this is what I think about this character, or this is what we do. We shoot it, then let the audience figure out. That's more interesting rather than just telling the story by the character. That's kind of things that as a director I kind of focus on. Try less explain by the line, but try to show the story visually. That's the key things about this movie and the focus as a director for this movie. Those shooting techniques about I Stay Wide is also very important about action scene too. The Jackie Chan said, reaction is more important than the action. So you want to put all the action and the reaction in the same frame, because it's not just action scenes, but when you see the movies, its reaction is more important. When you talk, you express about the characters express about their feeling. Sometimes they just too much focus about their face expression and body language, but it's also very important what the other people react. If somebody is angry or upset, there's a certain reaction that the people surrounding the character, it's also important, because we are not just watching people, about figure out the character's feeling, but we are also watching about the other people's reaction to think about what he's feeling. So in this time, when we shoot action scenes, it's very important, because these days action scenes, actors cannot act. That's why when you see even the great action movies, there's so many close-ups, so because the actors cannot act, so they kind of fake the fight scene looks real by cutting. But it kind of looks cool, but you can't really see what's going on. When you see the movement, the punch, you see the close-up, but you can't really figure out what's going on, what's the action scenes. But when you see the wide angles, because, like I said in the beginning, and all action scene was done by all the experts, martial artists. So we don't have to fake the scene. So we could stay the wide angle. So which means each fight scene, there's always action and reaction in the same frame. Like the sword fight scene, we create the tensions, because the Asano Sensei and I was standing in a certain distance in the sword fight scene. It's very important to show the tension. Our nervousness about having a real sword fight distance. So we even move the fight scene. There's a certain fight going on already before the action going on. We can shoot that with the wide angle lens. When I cut the sword, he kind of react and counterattack the other angle. So we don't really have to cut, so audience can see what's going on. Even though the same thing as a color fight scene, we show all the action and reaction on the same frame, so people can kind of see what's going on. Even not just the solo fight scene, with the knife fight scene in the last, when Masato draw the knife and swing, and Clara kind of dodge. So that's how that's create the atmosphere that the main character, the Clara's nervousness about the night fight scene, because it's real. So there's a knife, you have to stay away. So we didn't separate the shot. When Masato swing the knife, he dodge, there's action and reaction in the same frame, so people can easily understand what's going on. So this is another the challenge about this film. Try to stay wide as possible. It might when you hear that, it might sound boring, but if the actors can do the real fight scenes, you can just stay wide and show the action and reaction in the same frame, and that looks more real, and that's it's more easy for audience to understand what's going on. So, and that's actually it's more interesting. Even when you think about like a boxing fight, boxing championship matches, you know, if you just close up on the face together and hand movement, you can't tell what's going on, right? The same thing, you know. When you see the great match, you want to stay white. When you see the sumo wrestling match in Japanese TV, they stay white. So what's going on, and you know, audience can understand what is really happening there, rather than just close up in the hand and head. You know, it's kind of cool, like promotion videos, like a music video. But it's not really good about the action film, because action film is not the music videos. You have to deliver the story. So that's another story about action scene I really focused on. Our biggest scene will be the fight scene, the sword fight scene. The fight scene was choreographed and played by Asano Sensei. Asano Sensei is a real sword master. I think he's the best sword master in this today, my opinion. And he is the Menkyo Kaiden of Eishin-ryu and Shinkageryu, and he has over 30 years of experience. And also, Asano maybe sounds familiar because he is actually the real samurai descendants of Lord Asano of Chushingura, or I would say 47 Ronin. So even his family line is a real, so he's a real samurai today with a real background of a family background. When Asano Sensei and I designed the fight scene, we even used the real sword. I mean, not the real sword with the edge, but it's steel. So the weight is very real. So, and sound when you hit the sword, it's all real. So we kind of focused about what is a real sword fight scenes. That's one of the biggest fight scenes in this movie. When Asano Sensei and I tried to make a sword fight scenes, we tried to make as real as possible. So usually this kind of the samurai movies, they use the bamboo sword. It's for safety. So it's very light, but so you can swing like this. So when you see most of the Japanese Chambara movie, because they use bamboo sword, they can do that kind of swordmanship, the fight scene. But when we talk about our fight sequence, we try to make it as real as possible. So we use the fake sword. It's fake sword means like a practice sword. It's real steel sword. The length of the sword is the same. The weight of the sword is the same, except they don't have edges. But still, the sharpness in the top, so it's very dangerous. It's also you stab, you can actually kill. So with those actual real sword, when we made the tate, so it's very important. We wanted to show how real sword fighting looks like. So when you swing the sword with a real weight sword, you can't swing like this. You have to be precise. You have to be, you know, correct movement, correct body footwork. You have to use the entire body. And also because it's too heavy, in a real fight situation you miss, you kind of lose. So every time of the movement, it's like there's no momentum that actually you know, counter-attack and kill. So it's very precise movement. So that's how we wanted to show our fight sequences. So, and also Asano Sensei and the over 30 years old experienced swordman, so he kind of say we practice this way, but in real situation he said he created I do this way. So we did kind of certain way with the kata of Eishin-ryu, where we faked it and we changed it as a real sword fight scene. So it's not like Chambara movie when you see it today, but it's actual real fights, sword fight. And we try to imitate as real as possible. So even like when we have a distance, the movement, try to find the moment to swing, attack the opponent, that there's a tension. So we wanted to show the tension. That's very important. I hope we succeed with those real fights. Even the sound when you hit the sword, real. it's not like a sound effect. It's real still sort of hit each other. So even the sound, we kind of, focused on it. Our leading actor, Kuaro, he is actually the only one professional actor from Hollywood. So he's not the amateur actor, but he's a professional. And he is also the professional master of the Kaju Kenpo, or Hawaiian martial arts, and also Tsuya, and combine all kind of, Kenpo and Kung Fu. And he is also the black belt of the Steven Seagal's Aikido. So when he make action scenes, he put all the real fight scene with our leading actor. Also myself, I have a black belt of Steven Seagal's Aikido. I mean, I was student of Haruo Matsuoka, who is the best student of the Steven Seagal. When he moved from Japan to the United States, he took my sensei and he opened the dojo with him. So when you see not the current movie, but when you see the Steven Seagal's 80s, 90s movie, my senseis and actually my senior students are also in his movie. So I learned the Steven Seagal's Aikido and I put those in my movie with my students. And also actually, in fact, the Kuaro is also my senior student, so we learn the same Steven Seagal's Aikido under Matsuoka Sensei. And also I do the swordsmanship, the Iai Kenjutsu, under Asano Sensei. So I have a third degree of black belt under Asano Sensei. So I kind of combine both Steven Seagal's Aikido and Iai together and try to make it as real as possible and also as strong has strong impact as the Steven Seagal's movie. So this is my catch about this movie. Another big fight scene will be the gunfight scene in this movie. It's great. We have the great gun freak teams or otaku who knows everything about the guns and gunfight scenes as much as the real professionals. Don't underestimate Japanese otaku, they know everything. And also not just they kind of study from the movies or like any like a SWAT team, like a videos they could see from YouTube, but also because I have a lot of friends in US Navy, and I asked the veteran of US Navy about how they are doing the strategy and teamwork or how gun position. So even those the gunfight sequence, I think even the professional would say, okay, that's good enough for you. So even though like a small gunfight scenes really put all effort to make it look real. So now we came up with a great gunfight scene as well. With those expert idea and plan, we try to make this action movie not like Hollywood style movie or like all Japanese chambal kind of things. When you see the sword fighting, you do this, or when the guns are shooting. So we try to precise the idea of how real we could be. So it's very different from the action movie you can see either Hollywood or in Japan today. So we try to make it more look like a Kurosawa style, so not like too much movement going on. Maybe we don't really overemphasize the action. We try to make it like when you see the professional people see, oh, that's real. That's the story or scenes we are trying to make it. So I think it's very different from the action movie today. Our biggest challenge of this movie is not just the fight sequences. It's also almost all the characters are played by non-professionals who never acted before in my life. Maybe some of them did, maybe in the student film, but I never acted. Now our lead actor Masato, he never acted. So almost everybody had done no acting at all. But we did such a great job because the main reason I would say the acting was good because they acted really natural. So it's like one of the biggest problem I think about Japanese movie is their acting is over-emphasizing, or like it's more like a kabuki theater, or it's like when I see Japanese movie or drama, I would say nobody act like that. Who you see those actors play in a real life, but when all the movement or acting is so unnatural, and I don't like that. my teacher who taught me everything about how to shoot, he said, you know, great acting is, you know, you can just do everything is natural. If you can sit down and see it and nobody even noticed that it was acting, that's a great acting. So what we did today at this film, because we are non-professional, so we don't know anything about acting, so whatever we do, we all act it natural. Even though like sit down and drinking, talking, and they are all natural because they are not trying to do, you know, acting. So this is like our challenge, or I try to say Japanese film today, you know, it has to be acting. It's not like kabuki. It's, you know, you have to act it naturally. Then your personality comes in the film without acting. So that's why we have so many interesting characters, and everybody is very interested because they're a personality, even though they're far from their actual character. But you know, like Masato, he played cool, but in, you know, in real life he's, you know, very funny guy. But when we act, he did everything natural. That's why even though he is doing the opposite things, but because it's natural, it's very cool. So I was trying to show in this movie by not using actors, Japanese actors, but non-professional actors. So they don't even know how to act. That actually became a good end to be a naturally acting. That's the key things about this film. Our Japanese biggest film industry today is they cast wrong because they became so much commercialized that they have to produce the money. So when they make a movie, they only talk about how much money they can make. So it's like, oh, I use this the actors or actress, so this guy can bring like this much of audience, or maybe I can use this director, so I can bring this much money, or I can steal the story from the comic, so we can do this. So they make a story cheaply and cast it cheaply because the only thing is how much money they can produce, which is good because it's deep business, but it's kind of killing the industry because it's, you know, there's so many good actors and actresses, but they are not casted because they don't have a commercial value, you know. That's why it's, even though like say cast a great actor doesn't fit the story, but they play it, so they act like shit. They act like they act not cool, but they still get the role because they have certain number of the audience, so they can make money. So I think that's all wrong. I mean, in the Hollywood, of course they do that, but also they cast the people correctly. You know, when we make a movie, I think we should cast the right person, not because this guy can make, you know, bring lots of audience, but because this character, this guy fit, or this person fit the character. I think it's back to the story, you know, even though if non-professional person, if that guy fits the character, then this guy doesn't need to act because he's already doing the perfectly fit this character. I think it's very important to cast the film. So when we make the movie, so we try to look for some person who match with this character. So, and it end up great because this guy doesn't know anything about acting about this role, but his natural character is already fitting. So he doesn't need any experience to do it. Like, it's almost everybody, but like one guy, Anthony, he's a very interesting guy, and he was doing like a computer nerd, you know, who are trying to break the system and the trace the system, and he act like a computer specialist, talk like that. I mean, when you see in the film, when he see his character, it's almost the same. So he didn't even act. So he put the same character in the film. So in the film he act naturally. So it doesn't look fear. So I think this is very important. You know, when you look somebody, let's say when you look, like a lawyer, I say. You don't want to hire somebody who like a lawyer. You know, if you hire a lawyer to play a lawyer, it's act better because he knows what the lawyer looks like. He has already the atmosphere and mood, and talk like lawyers, rather than the just actor who doesn't know anything about the lawyer. A same thing. So if you wanna make a story that the president of the million-dollar company, you hire, you cast those people, you know, the president. He's already know about everything about being the president, rather than just you know, actors who only maybe saying they're actors and doing the part-time job at the company. These guys don't know anything about the president. So when he acts like president, it looks like a fake because they are fake. So when we do the movie, so we cast the people who already has a personality already. So they don't have to act. That's another the new try about this movie, and I'm trying to kind of tell the industry about, especially Japanese film industry, you know, they need to cast the right people, not because of the commercial reason, but you know, if they want to make a good movie, cast the right person, and that's like our message about through this movie. So this movie, like, I'm the freak of the film, and also everybody else is the freaks about not just the movie, about the fighting or guns or everything. So this movie is the main phrase is it's a movie made by non-professional freaks, but they are experts. So there's so many details. As a director, I already explained there's so much things that I put, you know, focused on, and everybody else, even like a gun team, even the gun team for the sounds or the move, that's all, you know, there's details there. In the fight scene, Asano Sensei and I created the fight scene as real as possible. So this movie is very, like, so much to see in this movie. So I want you guys to see this movie after you watch this clip. I want you guys to see it one more time or even more to find out what kind of details we worked on. So it's not just a one-time, I hope it's not just a one-time film, but people can actually see so many times. It's not just details, but there's so many fun moments or fun scenes, so actually you can laugh. So maybe first time when you watch this movie you don't get those jokes, but eventually maybe you see a couple of times you get the jokes too. So I hope people enjoy not just one time but many times about this movie. So thank you very much for watching this clip, and I hope you enjoy the second time watching this movie. For the next movie, personally I like the comedy. So this movie I kind of put this little or maybe lots of jokes in certain scenes, because I'm naturally I like to make a comedy, but this movie was kind of the kind of serious action movie, except some parts I can't tell. But next movie I like to make a comedy. I like to make a joke more, make a fun, because my goal right now is, like, as a Japanese who is not native English speaker, but I wanna be the director who can make a Hollywood comedy, you know, a Japanese director who can make a Hollywood comedy. That's like my goal. So next movie, I want to make some funny comedy. Me and Masato already have some idea about the comedy, and we have, for this movie, we casted so many interesting non-professional actors who have great characters. So maybe we'd like to stay in that way. So try to cast those interesting, funny personality to make a comedy. So let's see next movie, like how non-professional Japanese people can actually make a great funny comedy. That's my next challenge, because I know making comedy is very difficult, because making people sad is very easy. You know, make up some sad story, you know, and it's people kind of, you know, feel sad. It's easy, feel sorry about it. But make people laugh is very difficult, you know. So that's my next goal. And let's see how non-professional become like a funny comedian. That's like my next goal. So please keep your eyes on our project, and hopefully see you guys in the next film too.